the cases that were announced were not cases that were tested on the same day or in the same week. What is happening is there are a lot of backlogs of samples that were being tested, and the government does not release daily data and reports on confirmed cases. So the tests are done. There are backlog of cases still being done, and then they are submitted to various levels of authority before it is finally approved for dissemination. So by the time the reports come out, it's probably over a week after the test. So we really don't know, for instance, specifically the days on which these tests were done. And therefore, we cannot say that the 200 cases were confirmed on a single day. Again, the cause of the sharp increase is because the testing centers have a backlog of cases they are testing, samples they are testing, people who have been contact traced, people who have been who have traveled into the country, some foreigners who have breached the borders and entered the country illegally. People who were already being tested. They have a backlog of samples they are working on, and then they release them as and when. And of course, because it goes through a process of validation, it takes time for the results to be released. But then subsequently, we are seeing more community-related infections because and most of these people haven't really traveled. They've not had contact with anybody who has traveled, and they have no idea how they got it. And in fact, recently, a hospital decided to test people doing business on its compound, like taxi drivers, food vendors, and so on. And 10 food vendors were found to be positive, and 3 taxi drivers were also found to be positive. These are people who haven't traveled. They are not sure who they've come into contact with, but they have also been infected. So increasingly, we are seeing more and more community transfers, community infections of the disease than we were seeing in the past from people who have traveled from outside the country.